Welcome, people, to the next step of the Make Change Happen challenge. So we're actually on part 3 now. Where the heck did that go? How are we finding things? How have you been finding the mini challenges? Have you been finding it helpful? From the DMs that I've been receiving and the conversations that I've been having, I think it is having a really positive impact for some people, which is just perfect because that's exactly what I wanted to achieve. So let's get up to speed a little bit before we start today. So by now, we should know why we're wanting to make this change happen. We've also taken a look at the different options open to us. And hopefully by now you've done a little bit of research and kind of narrowed down the sector that you want to get started with. Welcome, people, to the... So what have I got on my to-do list for you today? Well, today we're going to be covering the giant that is social media. And I've got written down here in big letters what nobody tells you in the beginning about succeeding on social media. And that is really the crux of what I want to get into today. Because you remember that last episode we talked about social media being good for audience and target research. Well, pretty much everybody that is going to be joining your community in the future is probably hanging out on social media right now. And those are the people who you need to reach. Those are the people who you need to tailor your content and your marketing to, because in effect, they are going to become your business. So whether you're just starting out on social media, so what have I got on my to-do list for you today? Maybe you've been on there for a while, just kind of socially, and now you're looking to start monetizing that platform, or whether you are already on one of the social media platforms and things are just getting a little bit stagnant and you just want maybe a few ideas just to kind of get things moving again. Hopefully some of what we're going to be going through today might just tick that box. So what would you say if I told you that the first thing that we're going to do today is completely forget everything that we know about social media so far? And I mean everything. We're just going to completely wipe the slate clean where social media is concerned. We're starting a new chapter, we're starting a new challenge, and we're going to need to completely start fresh. Maybe you've been on there for a while, just kind of socially, and now you're looking to start monetizing that platform, or whether you are already on one of the social media platforms. And I'm not just talking here about starting up a new page or giving your existing page a little bit of an overhaul and just shaking things up a little bit. They are really great ideas, and that's definitely something that you might want to consider. But today, the point that I really want to get across is that when we stop using social media for social purposes and we start using social media as a way to build and promote our business, it needs to be used in a completely different way. And regardless of what you've heard already, because I did say we were going to be wiping the slate clean today, in the social media world, content is absolutely king or queen. So when we stop trying to just gain followers and we start trying to convert our engagement, and I'm not just talking here about starting up a new page or to monetize from it, the quality of your content is everything. And I don't just mean the visual aspect or the aesthetic aspect or the audio aspect. I'm talking about the voice behind that content, and that's your voice. Okay, so the days are long gone of just simply finding a trending audio and matching it with an image, or downloading an image from a reel bank, or making up a carousel just to try and put something out there, just to try and, reach your audience, because that's just not going to work for you in a business sense, because there's absolutely nothing special about them. You know, people are doing that socially. Other people who don't understand the right content strategy are still trying to get somewhere with that, and it's just not converting for them to monetize. And the reason for that is because a lot of the time they're just churning out more generic content. I mean, I'm not saying that hopping on some of the trends, you know, isn't a good idea just to kind of inject a little bit of something different now and again. But the trends are really only a quick fix. So if you think of them like a really big family size bar of dairy milk on a really crappy day, the high from it is going to be really short. And if you're in this for the long haul and you're trying to build up that following and you're trying to build up that community and target that audience, then you're in it for the long haul. So the real key to succeeding on social media that I've personally found is to do something that nobody else in the world can do. And the reason for that is because a lot of the time they're just churning out more generic content. And that is to use the superpower that we all possess, but we don't utilize it anywhere near as much as we should. And that is just to be ourselves, because we are completely unique. There is absolutely nobody else who can compete with us. So if we want our content to stand out from everybody else, we need to inject our personality. We need to inject ourselves into that content that we're putting out. So for the mini challenge today, one of the things that I really want to encourage you to do is, if you're on social media, you can do this already with your own page if you've started experimenting with different types of content. If you haven't yet, then if you just go to a page of a creator that you like to follow, or somebody in your follow list that's within the sector that you're looking to aim at. And that is to use the superpower that we all. Now, if you're doing this on your own page, it can be really difficult because I want you to be really objective and really honest about it. So I want you to go back and I want you to revisit the last 12 reels, kind of the last dozen or so reels on your page or somebody else's. And I want you to see genuinely and honestly how long each of those reels keep your attention. Would it make you hit the like button? Would it make you leave a comment? Have you been liking them? Have you been commenting on them? Or have you just been scrolling past them? Do they make you want to click in and find out more? Now, if the answer is no, it's probably because they're just completely generic. They're just exactly the same as other people's, and you've seen it a million times. And if it's on your page, it's probably because without even realising. Now, if you're doing this on your own page, it can be, you've pretty much got your social media slippers out and you've become a little bit of a creature of habit. So when we start looking at making content that reaches, we need a strategy, and just churning out the same kind of information or staying within your comfort zone is just not a strategy that's going to convert for you. What we need to start doing is looking at the content that your audience wants to see. This goes back to identifying their pain points, identifying what they're looking upon you to do. And that's where you're going to start building real connections. So when you make content for your business, what you really need to start doing is thinking more about that audience, because your audience are probably exactly like you. You've pretty much got your social media slippers out and you've become a little bit. So with that in mind, start thinking about what you want to see, what gets your attention, what are you looking for right now when you're right at the beginning or you're looking to just grow and scale your business. What is it that you want to see? Because that's what a real strategy is about, is implementing all of the things that you've learned along the way and giving that back to somebody else. Because if you wanted to see it, they're probably going to want to see it. And honestly, this was a complete game changer for me. And it's literally flipped the way that I create my content and how I convey that content. So, part of today's challenge, as well as doing a little mini audit like we've talked about, is before you even think about posting on social media again, I want you to write down 3 types of content that really resonate with you. So, with that in mind, because again, I mentioned the word longevity, and I know I say this a lot, but this is all about finding that balance between the type of content that you want to see, that you want to create, but also, and probably more importantly, the type of content that you're going to be comfortable creating for a long time, because you will get known for your style, you will get known for your branding. And even if some of the trends right now are funny voiceovers or memes or dancing around your living room with your trousers on your head, even if you try to replicate that, if that's not you and that's not what you feel comfortable doing, it's going to come through to your audience straight away. And straight away, they're going to feel that they're not getting to know the real you. And then you're not going to have anything. You're not going to have that foundation to even start building upon. Because again, are you going to be able to convey the message and the information that you want to get across to your audience with the type of content that you're going to be creating? So think about if you're comfortable doing a face forward account, think about a faceless account. You could do a little bit of a mix of both. But regardless of what you do, it's important that you're going to create that personal, high quality, really valuable content that's going to address the needs of your audience, provide a solution to any problems they have, or answer their questions. Are you going to go down more of a storytelling route? Is that more your thing? Are you going to be able to inject that level of being personal and getting your personal story across with the type of content or the type of page that you've currently got in mind? Are you going to be able to convey the message and the information that you want to get across to your audience? So 90% of the content that we put out there should end like a chapter of our favourite book, because it should evoke enough within your audience to not only retain their attention for that current reel or that current post while they're seeing it, but you also want them to keep coming back for more. So I realised that I have set you quite a big challenge this week. So obviously you're going to have a little bit of an audit of your own page or somebody else's. You're going to look at the type of content that resonates with you, and you're going to write down 3 different types of content that keeps your attention and that you feel that you're going to be comfortable creating both now and in the long term. So I'm really interested actually on this one. So 90% of the content that we put out there should end like a chapter of our favourite book, because to hear your thoughts and your feedback and whether or not this has been a negative or a positive exercise. So as always, and I know I say this every episode, my DMs are always open. I'm always really interested to hear your feedback and your thoughts, and I really hope that this will help you objectively kind of look at your content or look at other people's content in a little bit of a different way. So as always, don't forget to tune in next time. And until then, this is me signing off. To hear your thoughts and your feedback and whether or not this has been a negative or a positive exercise. So as always, and I know I say this every episode, my DMs are always open. I'm always really interested to hear your feedback and your thoughts, and I really hope that this will